understand it.
Then she had a little spitting up on the belt that she had, the Diva belt.
Yeah, there was that nonsense too. That went on almost a year ago today. I mean, it was a little more than it's just about a year from since that came out in the public. So all that stuff, which things that happened before, that years ago that come out and they're obtained through illegal measures. As long as it's not against the law, I don't feel people should be penalized for that. I don't think people should be penalized. Paige shouldn't have been because of that incident. And there was plenty of other WWE and former WWE and Impact stars that had their phones or their cloud accounts hacked, where photos were stolen. It was all over the internet. The trolls posted them everywhere on Facebook and wrestling sites. So I don't, whatever people do in their private business, I don't care. But obviously this happened during him being under contract. Paige and the incident with Del Rio happened while it was under contract. Roman Reigns while he was under contract. Uso. And just on and on and on. These are human beings. They make mistakes. Shit happens. But you can't sugarcoat one incident, ignore another incident, and then take action for a different incident. You have to be consistent. What are you showing people? What are you showing your fan base, the parents who allow their kids to watch this, allow their kids to go on the internet and read about this stuff? What are you proving to the fan base that one thing is okay but the other thing is not? Like where's the happy medium?
Well, I don't think there is anything. With Swan, I get it. He's physical abuse, etc. Not found guilty, but then you got Enzo Amore, who, what the hell did he do again?
Supposedly raped that girl.
Okay, so they just basically just deaded him right away.
Well, they suspended him as soon as it came out. Now, their reasoning for dismissing Enzo Amore was because he was dishonest with the company and never told them that he was originally questioned last year when the incident happened. And basically, that was their escape from everything. And apparently we lost Dave, so we'll wait for him to call back. So that was their escape to get out from underneath Enzo's contract, because they've had numerous problems with Enzo in the locker room and whatnot. So that was kind of that was kind of the window open opportunity for them. They saw it, they jumped at it, and if he's found innocent and charges are dropped because they found out this girl's not credible or whatever the case may be, which that's the way it's looking like it's going to happen. It's kind of egg on the face of the WWE as well. So yeah, Dave, welcome back. So
what'd you do? You hung up on me?
I didn't do anything, dude. Your call just went bye-bye. So Stop putzing around and concentrate on what your job is here.
I'm sitting in school.
All right. How about we get Mr. Shamrock on the phone?
I'm thinking I might have to go to a different location. You guys keep on breakdowns?
Yeah, I can. You're all gargly. I don't hear you.
All right. I'll go outside.
Good thing it's nice out today.
You're right.
So, my question, is where WWE, where they stand with certain things, and are they consistent with how they handle things? In my opinion, the answer is absolutely not. The Enzo thing, they just took an opportunity to get rid of Enzo because he was too much of a pain in the ass. And then they just used this as an excuse. You're going to tell me that other people weren't honest about things that went on in the WWE, in the locker room? Guys weren't honest when they were questioned about steroids or performance-enhancing drugs. Of course they were dishonest. They failed tests. If they failed tests, they were dishonest. But, you got guys wrestling that have failed tests 3 or more times, and they're still active with WWE. So there's just no consistency, and here everybody was bashing baseball, for having all this steroid use and PED use, and now they look like they have the most strictest policies of anybody.
So. All right, I'm going to call him now, so I'll be on hold.
All right. So hopefully we got this. So, you know what? We got a Warriors of Wrestling show coming up. So let's play that promo, and we'll be back in a couple seconds.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Warriors of Wrestling presents a huge women's triple threat match for the Women of Warriors Championship. March 10th in Staten Island, New York at Fun Station USA 3555 at Victory Boulevard. Fresh off her victories at Women and Warriors 4 against Casey Carlisle and Allie Rex at Cold Fury, champion Nikki Adams is thrown right back into the fire. Just reported on WarriorsOfWrestling.com, she will defend her Women of Warriors title against third-generation star Tessa Blanchard and second-generation star Rachel Ellering. Will Pedigree end Nikki Adams' one-year reign? Well, you can find out Saturday, March 10th in Staten Island, New York. Also appearing on the card will be former WWE star James Ellsworth, Super Crazy, WWE Hall of Famer Alundra Blaze, former two-time WWE Women's Champion Molly Holly, former NXT and Impact star Brandy Rhodes, along with the tag team of the Ugly Ducklings. Visit WarriorsOfWrestling.com for advance ticket sales now.
Hey guys, it's Tennille Dashwood, and you're listening to the Indie Super Show on the Damage 365 Radio Network.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, check out that Warriors of Wrestling show March 10th in Staten Island, New York. Go to WarriorsOfWrestling.com for tickets and more information. At this time, we'd like to welcome in former WWE Intercontinental Champion and UFC Champ. He is the UFC Hall of Famer, Ken Shamrock. Ken, welcome to the show.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thank you. Well, let me. I've been reading up, trying to get some information of things I didn't know about you from back in the day. And one thing I always wanted to know was the origin of Shamrock, your last name. And now I know, but it's a really inspiring, awesome story of how you adopted the name and to honor somebody else.
Yeah, it was, and it wasn't necessarily, it was kind of a situation in which my mom was in. I know at a very young age, she had some issues at her house, and so she ran away when she was like 14 or 15, young age, so, there's some problems there. And then she moved to, I believe it was Georgia. She ended up having 3 kids by the time she was 18 years old, and she had one every year. I mean, it was like my brothers were all a year apart. So she struggled because she didn't understand the lay of the land. She was pushed into a situation in which she wasn't ready for, but because of the situation, there's no way she could stay where she was at. She had kids and trying to struggle through that, and one thing led to another. Her one that she'd actually had the kids with, which was my original, not original father, but the father of my other 2 brothers, had went off to war and got killed. So he wasn't around much. So my biological father was still around. He's from Georgia. But one thing led to another. Things didn't work out. We moved to Georgia. Her being single again, not being able to stand up and really take charge of things going on around her. We were really wild kids, and so we all ended up in juvenile hall with violent charges and robbery, strong arm robbery, and some weapons charges. At the age of 10, when I was 10 years old, that's when I was first incarcerated. So I spent my time going through juvenile halls and group homes, and not the best of places to really have a way of learning and educating yourself, except for, how to get over on people and rob people. That's kind of what my education was up until I was probably 13, 14 years old, when I ended up at the Shamrock Boys Home, which was really different from all the other homes I was at. That's where I really started to understand what a young man is supposed to act like, and keep your grades up, and that's why I got involved in sports, because I was able to direct my anger into something positive.
Right. Now, the gentleman, Bob Shamrock, who was running this home, wound up, if I'm reading this correctly, legally adopted you, and you changed your name to Ken Shamrock, kind of like in his honor?
Yeah, well, it was. I'm not even sure I thought of it like that, but I was. My original last name was Kilpatrick, and so when I was growing up, I didn't really have a foundation of where I was from and who I was as a person. Mm-hmm. When I went to the Shamrock Boys Home, I became involved and a part of a family. And the name was Shamrock, and that name throughout the town, and it was a proud name. And so, just like everybody that has a name when they're growing up, it's their last name, right. And it's the only thing that people that they know that it's theirs, and they're a part of a history of something that started a long, long time ago. And so, you're either going to embrace that and make it better, or you're going to embrace it and make it worse.
Right.
And I didn't have really a last name as a Kilpatrick, at least at that time, of really understanding who I was. So when I had the opportunity to be adopted at the age of 18 years old, I did it because I felt like that's who I was. It wasn't like I was leaving my mother or I was leaving anything that was in the past, because I didn't know the past. Right. So I was basically just embracing who I was and what I grew up as. And I just said, this is who I am. I mean, I don't know anything else.
I mean, to just hear where you came from and the things that you've gone through, whether self-inflicted or not, and then to turn yourself around to be able to display all the things that you've accomplished in your adult life, it's just something that's remarkable. And I'm sure that your story can help any others in your situation that are in your situation that you were as a child. So, I mean, is it something that you do? Do you speak to kids or someone similar to what your upbringing was?
Well, I do. Like I said, anything that someone says they've had happen to them, more than likely it's happened to me, mm-hmm. Because I've been through a lot. And so when people come to me and I hear things, and the only thing I can really say to them is, listen, yeah, it happened. And, the worst thing you can do is to try not to embrace it, right. Not to accept it. The worst thing you can do is try to hide from it or to push it back somewhere so it didn't exist. Because no matter what happens as you walk through life, if you don't deal with it, and if you don't accept it, and you don't say, yeah, that's what happened to me, that's not who I am, that's not what's going to be me, that I am better than this, and that I'm going to get past this, and that it is something that has happened, but it is not going to define my life. I'm not going to let it define my life. If you do those things, then when you get older and these creepy little things start popping their head up again because of different situations you go through, then you're not going to freak out and make the situation worse. You're going to know that, hey, yeah, okay, I'm not that. That may reflect something on something that has happened to me, but I'm not going to build and break this thing to something bigger than it is, because that's normally what happens when people go through some traumatic stuff. They don't understand when something happens 20 years down the road or 10 years down the road. It pops its head up there, and all of a sudden your world comes apart, and it doesn't have to. Right.
I understand that completely. And, you moved forward with your life. You got involved in MMA and wrestling and, of course, football and school, eventually leading to professional wrestling and